I'm really inspired by something that's been happening for the last 6 weeks since we lost George Floyd, is that this spontaneous expression of protest and also support for Black lives has been happening with flowers. And I've seen a lot of people do it. A lot of our members have done it. Lisa Watt just did a 6-part series in Detroit, which she spoke about last month. And I saw that Alicia, Rico, and Adam Rico of Bows and Arrows, who are Slow Flowers members in the Dallas area, had posted a really impressive tribute to many Black faces, men and women, with flowers. It caught my eye. I started following it, and then I followed the thread to meet their inspiration, Joy Proctor. So we're going to start with Joy. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you.
Joy Proctor of Joy Proctor Design. You are based in Portland.
Correct.
Which is so close to me in Seattle. So let's meet in Chehalis and have coffee, okay?
That sounds good.
You want to introduce us to your muse on your shoulder?
Yeah, I hope that's okay. He's just doing his thing. This is Haku.
I love it. We like it.
It's cool. I like him.
We get children animals. It's okay.
Exactly.
So, Joy, you have a really beautiful website. I'm going to pop it up while we're talking, but could you just take a minute to introduce us to you and your business as a wedding designer and kind of give us a snapshot of your business?
Yeah, so basically, I started 12 years ago as a wedding planner in Santa Barbara, California. I started mostly because I just didn't want to work for someone else, and I thought this looks pretty and fun. And so I always tell people, like, I put an ad on Craigslist, and I said, I'll do anybody's wedding for free. And I got a lot of takers, and then just realized, if I'm cheap, then I'll get work. And, then slowly realized that wasn't exactly what I was going for.
Right.
So fast forward, I think, to be able to try to get the types of clients and work in the venues I wanted, I realized the weddings had to be cute. So I did like a styled shoot forever ago because I wanted to show Chiavari chairs and chargers in my weddings, even though my clients weren't using them. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of where design started for me. Fast forward to now, I call myself a recovering wedding planner. I made the choice a while ago to stop that. But now I do design, and it's just like, it's such a lovely way to be creative. And as we've all been during like this pandemic, I think we've slowed down, and, I've wanted to continue being creative. And I think some part of this memorial that transpired was a result of like this, like my heavy heart, but also this, my creative side from the wedding industry. So it's all kind of culminated into this, this beautiful tribute.
So before we wrap up, I'll ask you, like, what is the future of Joy Proctor Design in the wedding and also in education? I feel like that's a big part of your business.
Yeah.
But did you experience kind of like every wedding on the books getting postponed or rescheduled? And did you find yourself with the space and the time to actually respond to what you were seeing happening in the news and, in your own city?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think it was just, probably for lots of us, I shouldn't say an avalanche, but in some way it was like that. It was like one wedding, two weddings, all the weddings, and I think some of them flirted with fall and thought about that, but they've all been moved. And it's not just weddings, it's other things, whether it's workshops or conferences, but everything shifted. And you're right, I was in this space where I was very, when I was here at home and I was only with my family, and you do so much, like, you're thinking so much, maybe you've got so much more time and space to process things. And so, yeah, 100%. I think having the time to think, and so many things have happened, actually. I think right when COVID happened, there were a couple other things. I'm like, how can we use what we do in this industry to help? And so there were some awesome graphic designers who I partnered with to make infographics for sub-Saharan Africa. It's just been really cool to think about, like, okay, I have all these friends and we have all these talents. How do we do something while we're just sitting? And I find that there are so many people like Adam and Alicia with like these ginormous hearts who just like want to use what they've made and have, you know, to help others. So it's been really cool.
Wow. So when did you do your installation in Portland? And I think I'm going to jump over and share some of the images. So I would love to look at you, but I'm going to get the screen up
Yeah, no
while we're talking. So the very first installation happened in Portland. What was it, like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, so it was on Juneteenth.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it was on Juneteenth, and it's really interesting. It came about because there's a beautiful rose grower here in Portland, Tangled Roots, PDX, if you want to look her up, at Tangled Roots, PDX. Nancy is just such a darling, and she basically said, before I thought about this, she was like, I have all these roses, and there's no weddings, and they're just so beautiful, and would you do something with them this week? And I had been heavy in my heart about everything that had been happening. And I thought, gosh, is there some way that I can link, you know, these flowers to something else? And the first thing I thought of was like, it makes sense to do a memorial. Like, we've got all these beautiful flowers. And so I started talking with my sister and thinking about what to do. And then she had some friends, and basically together we decided, we reached out to Heart Floral here in Portland, who helped us also get donations from Mayesh in Portland. And we decided we were going to make bouquets, and that we were going to put them up. And then we started doing research on lives lost. So maybe a group of 4 of us started doing research, and there's no one database, right? There's no one database that says all of these lives have been lost due to, you know, injustice, racism, police brutality. So it took us a little bit of time to like go through and find people, and that was heavy. It was so heavy to read every single person's story, to learn about them. You know, it was eye-opening. I knew it was a problem, but it was eye-opening to do that. And so it was really important to us that when we did this, we honored every single person, and every single person got a bouquet. And that meant, you know, we needed enough florals to make it happen, and we needed a bigger team. So that's how it started on Juneteenth.
So where was this installation, this fence? Is it at a park or?
Yeah, good question. So there's a place here in Portland called Revolution Hall. All of the protests, or some very large protests, started from Revolution Hall. Some of the big ones that made national media started here. And it's kind of the hub of the movement here in Portland. So for folks who are trying to figure out what's going on each day, you know, or looking for, you know, like-minded people, you just go to this place and they're there throughout the day.
Wow.
So it was a good place. It also just happened to be, there's a bus stop there. It's pretty highly trafficked. I just wanted anybody, not just the people who are part of the movement, but I just wanted anybody walking or driving by just to like see one face and then see another one, you know, and then start to realize there are so many that it's overwhelming, and start to understand the gravity of the problem, and also the history of the problem. We chose people, civil rights leaders. We needed people with pictures, so we couldn't go back so far. But, you know, just realizing that this has been happening for so long for a variety of reasons was heavy, but also important to us, because we, you know, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, important people, but, you know, there's so many before them.
And so many whose names we've never heard, because they've never been, the stories haven't been reported of the brutality at their, So altogether, do you know how many images or how many portraits you have?
So on the first one that we did, we got to 175.
Wow.
And since then, as a result of like Adam and Alicia being so amazing and so many people around the country replicating this memorial, we've added to the list. People have done their own research in their own towns. I think we're at about 216 right now, with a whole bunch more names, unfortunately, that we need to add.
Right.
So the list will keep growing.
Wow. And what I understood, I think I saw this on your, somewhere on your feed. I just want to get the hashtag up, because you said that there are even more on the hashtag, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That'll show you just a lot of pictures. Exactly.
Anyway, you are sharing your PDFs of the photos for people who want to replicate this in other cities, or how is that working?
Correct. Yeah. So we have a drive right now, a drive folder, and the drive folder has just various information about like how you would put this up, how we did it, and then a couple other things just for housekeeping, just so we can see where they're going, who donated, prints or flowers or time. But it has one folder with a PDF of all of the people, and an Excel spreadsheet that has a list of all the people as well, so people can look through that. Our hope is eventually possibly to have a website, so that we're starting some sort of database that makes it really easy for people to learn. I think, what I find is when people come across the memorial, they look at one person, you have so many questions, like who was this person? Why did this happen? What was their life like? And so we want to make a really easy way that people can look up and find this. And so we're thinking about working on bios written along with families, the families of the lost people. But we're still working on it. So yeah, so it's that many people, but there's so much more to do.
Well, Joy, I mean, to consider that this has all kind of mushroomed in the course of less than a month it kind of gives me the shivers. Like I want to bring Adam and Alicia, and people had maybe just this desire to act, but didn't really know a way to act. And you've shown a model that, and you're generously sharing it. It's not like you have to own this, right?
No, it's 100% not about me. And it doesn't, it's been really beautiful to see also that people are not all doing exactly the same thing. They're changing it. They're making it theirs. That's the important thing. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. I think it's about our community. It's about giving our community a place to learn more, giving our community a place to grieve and to talk. And so I think it's about each one of us doing it in our community and then opening that conversation and having that. So no, it's, for me, it's just sharing the photos.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Before we jump over to Adam and Alicia to talk about what they've been doing, can you talk about your other project that you are working on, which is called the Hall of Injustice? And where is there a picture of that? Is that on the GoFundMe page?
So there's some on the GoFundMe. You can go to the Instagram and there are stories. If you scroll up, hopefully those
on this
there. Oh, it looks like it doesn't. Yeah, if you go to the account. So
okay, I'll do that. Yeah, sorry for my slowness
okay.
here.
There's one there. So basically, we've done this memorial, and we just wanted to create. I wanted to create something else. I wanted to create a moving art piece that could move from place to place, that we could have at protests, that we could take to schools, we could take all over. And so that's my great friend Craig there. He's incredible, and he's a very skilled carpenter. We wanted to create kind of the structure and the frame of a courthouse, and just shed light on the fact that injustice, the thread that weaves through all of the people we've chosen is injustice. And the legal system has sadly failed many, many people. And so we decided to build a hall of injustice that would hold picture frames, which would be like windows in the hall.
Is this the one right here?
Correct, exactly. Yeah. And so we all worked together. We stayed up late, this whole team of people in Portland, to be able to create this. And we haven't debuted it yet, but we will soon. We were just so lucky to have so many skilled friends and people willing to help with the structure. So so you're seeing right here just the makings of the structure, and I think maybe the very last one you'll be able to see the basic facade.
We'll put the GoFundMe link into the chat box too. It just cracks me up in a way. It's like, leave it to a wedding designer who has a big vision of things for which she may not have the skills to just rope everyone in to turn that idea into a three-dimensional piece of sculpture. This is massive.
Yeah, it is massive. No, that's exactly what happened. And, I basically said, I'm crazy, but I have more crazy friends. And they said, yes.
How big is this? It's like 20 feet long or something. I mean, I can't even estimate.
It's about, I think we were trying to do 12 by 24. I think it ended up being a little bit larger than that, but it's all modular. So as we have more names and add to it, it'll just continue to get longer.
This is so impressive. And I mean, it's so moving that, that you almost don't even have words to respond to how severe and so much weight to just see these beautiful humans who are lost to us.
That's the hardest part every single time. And I'm sure Adam and Alicia can talk about it too, but every single time you print a picture and you laminate it, you spend at least 30 seconds with that picture when it's going through the laminator, and every single time it's heavy, So the enormity of being inside of that structure and just having all of these people around you, it's emotional.
Joy, going forward, what do you think your life is going to look like? Will you kind of become an activist and educator and say to your wedding clients, bye-bye? Or, I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but you've really found your voice here.
Yeah, that's a great question. I have to be honest. I went to school for political science, and it's something that I've always been politically active. And I think there's always been a part of me in weddings that felt like, is there more that I can do? Am I doing enough with my
talents,
to help people? And I think I've been pulled. I love weddings, and I will definitely continue to do weddings, but I want to have enough time that I can do this sort of thing too. And so my hope is it can be this project, it can be this movement, but I think I just realize I've got enough energy and motivation that I want to use. I want to be able to help others. I've been given so much. I've been so lucky in my life. So I think the future is probably a little bit more other things, still weddings, but sharing that.
You've got to pay the bills, right?
I was just going to say that's the whole thing.
Mama's got to eat, right? Yeah. Well, but you're going to change. I mean, this has changed you. So
it's true.
So we're excited to support you. And Slow Flowers did make a small donation to the Holiday of Justice. And I think that you can use more funds. So I encourage people to check that out. And, because it sounds like you've got a lot of pro bono donations, but there's still some hard costs to
Correct. So basically for that particular structure, I mean, we're lucky. We have somebody who gave us a space to do it in. So that's amazing. And all of our labor was for free, and we got, all sorts of other things, but really it's just the cost of the materials, the wood and everything else. It's not cheap. So it's just literally hard costs, but otherwise we've been so lucky because we've gotten so much from so many people.
Wow. I'm really, really excited to follow it and maybe come and see it in person once you get,
I love that.
It sounds like you'll have host organizations that will invite you to bring the installation.
Yeah, correct. And you're not that far. You just tell us where to bring it and we'll do that.
Well, great. Well, let's jump over to Alicia and Adam Rico of Bows and Arrows. Like Joy, they are very busy wedding and event designers. Hello, and thanks for joining us.
Hey. Hello, thanks for having us.
Last time I saw you, we were all at Flower Stock teaching together with Holly, like a year ago. So much has happened.
Seems like a year.
I mean, it might have been.
It's been a while.
It was it was in the fall of 2018 or 2019. I can't remember. But of course, you're Slow Flowers members, and I'm so grateful for that. And I follow Bows and Arrows, and I saw this originally, before I even stumbled across what Joy was doing. I saw your installation in Dallas, and maybe you guys can talk a little bit about how that started, and then some of the ups and downs that you experienced in your community. And it sounds like you had sort of a similar reaction to Joy, like you wanted to do something, right?
Yes. I think in the beginning, like we wanted to do something, and for a while, we were really just using our Instagram following and our platform to kind of be a voice and, posting things about injustice and posting things about being anti-racist and towards equality, but we didn't really know, what more we could do and how we could do it. Yeah. I think there was a lot of, I felt really bad in the beginning when all of this happened, because I wanted to do something, and other than, being super socially active, and I wasn't posting really any stories other than that at the time, because I just wanted to raise awareness and spread that all around. But then we saw this beautiful installation memorial that Joy created in Portland. And it was just amazing that she was offering this concept to others to take to their cities. And that was the perfect fit for us, because I think being parents too, and we're really involving our children in the discussion of equality and being anti-racist and, whites, like anti-white supremacy and going all of those things. Like, we were really trying to teach our kids. We had always had the discussion with them before, and they're 6 and 10-year-olds, by the way, too.
Yeah.
And that's always been a discussion to us, as we never wanted them to see themselves as better than anyone else. And we always wanted them to, be inclusive and loving and caring. So I wanted a way we could do a demonstration or a protest, but include our family and also I think the community we're in, we're in a very conservative and like wealthy part of Dallas that doesn't get a lot of demonstrations or protesting or anything. And I felt like we needed a way to make them see this, make them see the issue without like walking down the streets with signs, because I don't think a lot of people in our neighborhood necessarily would react well to that or even take it to heart. So I think we were looking for a way where we could involve our community also and, recruit more people that felt the same way, more families, educate everyone.
Yeah. So the context of, I think, Joy's location was people that were very agreeable with the movement, and I think that's amazing. Where we were context-wise was the opposite. Not fully, but we did have people sort of push back in a way, and so I think it was kind of important that we ended up doing that location initially, because it got people to pay attention and it got people that might disagree with us to come and like see the memorial and say, hey, like this is so many lives. And so we had discussions with neighbors. Absolutely. And it was a way, to talk to them, and not in a way that's shouting, in a way that's very like, these are the facts, and let's honor these people.
This is not an opinion. Yeah, you were not giving an opinion. You were just letting the photos speak for themselves. And Adam, when you Adam and Alicia, when you mentioned kind of the conservative, wealthy, probably mostly white community, is that kind of the makeup of your clients too? Or like, did you feel any concern that, somehow you're going to offend a client by being, vocal?
I don't think that's necessarily the makeup of our clients. And
that's good.
We weren't even concerned with losing followers or offending people, because I feel like equality is for everyone. And this is a message that needs to be heard and needs to be spread. And if we don't talk about it, then no one else, I think we need to be the starters, and we need to lead this discussion. And I think also a lot of people, are afraid to talk about it or don't know how. And I think if we are kind of leading the way and guiding, more people will begin to discuss. And I think more people will be braver and want to use their voices more. So I think we're just trying to lead the way into that.
That's
but
awesome.
So our memorial was taken down. We had a lot of neighbors call and complain. We did, surprisingly though, have a lot of neighbors that called in support of the memorial. So our city was getting so many calls caused a huge disruption in our community, which is amazing. Like everyone was talking about it, whether good or bad. So it was going on everywhere in Dallas. The news came out. So, it was a great thing for the memorial and for Black Lives, because we got so much attention. And that's why we decided to put up like 5 more cents, because we're like, well, if this one goes down, we've got to put up more. And so the one that went down, we put it up like 2 days later in a different location. We found another home for it. And then right after that, we had downtown Dallas, there's a place called Thanksgiving Square. And they asked us to put up kind of a more permanent one in their location. Right. So we were able to do that. And then we had a church contact us and want us to put up one on their lawn. Well, they didn't want that there. I came up with the idea of doing kind of like yard signs, lawn signs.
Yep.
And at first I was telling Joy, at first I was looking at her Portland memorial and thinking that my memorials needed to be just like that and look just like hers. And then I was like realizing, no, like there's a different space for everyone, and we should look at the space and make it make sense for the space. So like
Joy is nodding. I mean, isn't that what you all do when you're planning an event, is like let the space determine your design?
Totally. Yeah.
Joy, did you like walk them through it, or did they just kind of let you know, hey, we want to do this?
It didn't take any walking. I mean, we've worked together we've worked in Bali, we've worked in Thailand, we've worked in France, we worked everywhere together. And so we're so used to that, but it literally didn't take any of that. I think it's just the inspiration. You see it and then you go. And so that's literally what they did. I take everything they did is what they did. I can't take any of the praise or credit for that. They just are beautiful humans who just
fun with it.
Just shine it all over the place, which is awesome.
Well, I saw for all of you that there were a lot of other wedding professionals, kind of other vendors that you work with, and maybe not necessarily florists, but in a way, it was something that the wedding and event industry could come together to produce, right?
Lots of florists. Mm-hmm. At our installations, I think most everyone from our industry are florists, and we love getting to work with other florists because we wouldn't, normally get to work with them in weddings or events. But I love the floral community coming together for such an important cause, and I do think it is great to see so many people from our industry with like minds and all using their talents for good.
Can you, Adam and Alicia, can you just talk a little bit about what it has meant to have your daughters involved in this? The photos are so poignant. The one you posted last night of your daughter wearing a face mask holding flowers, it's like, oh my gosh, it just was so moving to know that young people are learning a different way to see the world. Yeah, they're out there working as hard as they can, which is funny to see the little bodies, like making these bouquets and putting them on and putting the photos onto the onto the fencing or whatever we're working with. But so yeah, after we go through that, and I don't know why it's been a scramble for some reason when we hang things. Maybe that's how we operate, just kind of fast. But the great thing is afterwards we step back and we look at it with our girls, with our friends that have helped us install everything. And yeah, it's just a moment of silence, really, and not purposefully. It's just like, that's just what happens. And so afterwards, after that sort of moment everyone has, we go through and the girls look at each face and they're like, who's that? Sometimes we'll see a new face from the initial start of the project. And so we go home and we research who that is. And then our older daughter, Dottie, will sometimes draw photos. She'll draw pictures of the photos. And so that's another way for her to sort of, familiarize herself with the person.
We've also been watching lots of movies and documentaries that help them understand this time. Like, we want them to see and know everything, and we don't really shelter them or keep them from things. They're still going to be children and live their childhood, but I want them to know about what's going on, and that some people worry about their children during their childhood of, not being treated fairly or being killed by injustice. So I don't want them to take that for granted and take for granted this privilege that they may carry. I want them to be able to use their voices, and I want them to love to help and to give to others. And I want them to use their voices and it be natural and be an everyday thing for them, standing up for others.
Yeah, that's sweet. Hey, Lisa has a bad connection, but she typed a big comment she'd like me to share with you. I think I mentioned that she's done 6 weeks in a row of floral installations in Detroit. And originally they were started to support local flower farmers and just to create something that would allow Lisa to purchase flowers and you know, create revenue for these farmers. It's turned into something because of the, you know, basically week 1 is right when George Floyd was killed and protests started, and of course in Detroit as well. So she really changed her emphasis, and I'll send well, those of you who are Slow Flowers members have heard about this, but for Joy and Adam and Alicia, I'll send you the link to that big Flower Friend project. But Lisa said, I did an installation with 35 portraits during week 3 of my series. After de-installation, I feel responsible for these portraits and to honor their lives further. This is exactly what I've been looking to do with them. I'll be digging into the shared docs, I think she means Joy's shared docs, to produce a Say Their Names memorial in Detroit. Thank you for the inspiration and guidance. I appreciate feeling the community aspect of this project despite being in different cities. So anyway, she wanted me to share that. I think we'll maybe have a few more questions. Are you guys okay if we jump to more questions?
Yeah, of course.
Nisha, who's our social media manager, who claims that she has no floral design skills. She lives in Fresno. She said to me that she thinks she doesn't have floral design skills, but it makes her want to do this in her community. Nisha, do you want to, I'm going to take you off mute. Did you want to ask your question both either to Joy or to Adam and Alicia?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not a floral designer. I do social media marketing. But I'm just curious about the locations that you guys chose. Did you have to ask permission beforehand, or like what was the protocol for that?
Okay, no problem. I would say, I think Alicia and Adam hit the nail on the head that Portland's a lot different than perhaps other places. And so for us, we knew basically any place we wanted to do it, it would be okay. We chose a location that would be highly trafficked, and where we knew we could find a good fence that would be easy to use zip ties with. But that said, for all of the other people who are doing this, there are so many business owners who would love to have this on their fencing, in their windows. There are also public places. So if you talk to the city, you can do that. I'm not going to advocate or say that you should do anything illegal, but sometimes the best place to put this is not a place you'll get approval. Do your thing.
Yeah. How about you guys, Alicia and Adam? You've done a number of these, and obviously you were forced to take one of them down.
So with 2 of them, we have gotten approval. And then the one we did yesterday in Atlanta, we did not get approval. It was on a trail that is heavily trafficked with bikes and running and stuff. And so it was in a community, though, where I think most of the community was very supportive of the movement. So we weren't worried about it really getting taken down. And we did it in the rain so that no one was there messing with us. But we did get our first one down. Yeah.
Do you think that, so there's sort of different options. There's like going the whole permitting route, which doesn't seem like you needed to do, or finding a host organization or a host piece of real estate that someone would say. Yeah. Nisha, you can do this in Fresno. I want to see it. I'm excited.
I have a lot of friends here that, you know, own businesses or just have connections overall. And I honestly want to make a statement here. I feel like our city is pretty torn too with like, you know, the ones that really believe it. And then we have our, you know, people that don't. So I think it can be possible.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that this is, you know, it's a process that anyone can do. You don't need to have like a ton of floral skills. Like, it's coming from your heart, and everyone that comes to help you is, you know, wanting to be there. And, you know, you gather a few flowers, you tape them off, and you zip tie them to the fence or whatever you're doing. But really, like, don't worry about the skill level, and you will recruit so many people to help you that you don't even know are out there. And, you know, people will share your post, and you'll have enough people to help. You can get product. Like, don't be worried about that. I think, to me, the thing that always concerns me most is finding the location. You know, like when I came to Atlanta and I wanted to do it, I was like, oh, where are we going to do it? You know, and I'm going to do one in Naples next week.
Okay, so let's talk. We have two people on the chat who are Atlantans. So they're saying it sounds like it must have been on the Beltline. And Adam, you're from Georgia. That's why you guys are visiting family or something in the area.
Yes. Yes.
So how quickly did you pull this together? Because you told me about it when we talked on Monday or Tuesday, and it happened yesterday.
I think it was under a week. Pulling it together. I think I messaged a couple friends, and Joy's friends with them too. Mary McLeod was the main one, and then Sheridan with Samara Floral. I messaged both of them. Sheridan came up with the location. Mary, Sheridan, and I all, Instagrammed about people coming to help or donate florals or donate money for the printing. Printing runs between like $300 and $500 for portraits to be printed and laminated.
Okay, that's good to know.
Just to let you know if you're trying to that. You could find a printer who will just donate all the printing. That would be awesome.
On that, when you laminate the photos, obviously that gives them more durability, but are they pretty much just a one and done? Like, can you take the photos to another installation? Or are they kind of tired by it?
No, we've been able, so ours has been up for a couple of weeks now and it's been fine. We've had some damage. And so we've replaced them, but you could easily snip those zip ties and take them. And Adam and Alicia, you might know better because you guys you moved that first one. But just to throw it out there, it doesn't need to be so expensive. If you get those, if you get the prints donated, even if you don't, let's say you don't, it's $216 black and white. If you do it, doesn't have to be a lot. We bought a laminating machine, which was not expensive. And, the laminating sheets, they were $20 for 200 or something. So if you do it yourself, you'll save money for sure. But there are so many amazing places that want to donate to this. You just tell them, what you're doing, and I think you'll have a lot of luck with it.
That's awesome. That is really fantastic. Lisa, poor Lisa, she can't talk, so I'm going to read her next statement. It's such an important part of anti-racism work to instigate conversations where they are not normally happening, or where they're not normally welcome. And she's summering in her tiny, very white hometown in northern Michigan for a couple weeks where that's the case, and she's been researching where she might install something that instigates conversations. Lisa, go for it. We want to see how that happens, and I think in a way the language of flowers is this safe space to be in where it's people can respond in many ways, but generally positive to the flowers, and then maybe that gives them pause to see the photos. Then the contrast is pretty profound.
Yeah, I think so too. The flowers for me were also just like this beautiful representation of life, the fragility and beauty of life. And so when we initially put it up, people would walk by and they were like, how can we help and what can we do? And some people actually physically helped. But I also told them, this is a living thing. Add people as you see that they're not here. Replace these flowers when you see them, drying out, whatever it is. And so it's been a really nice way to involve the communities that they're in through the flowers and through understanding. And as that sort of example of, it's literally an example of what we're showing. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I cut Alicia off when she started to say Naples, Florida. So let's hear about that. And then Joy's got her beautiful big project. I'm sure you guys are cooking up something to continue after this.
So we are going to meet up with our friends, Kaleidoscope Floral in Naples next week, and do an installation there, either Wednesday or Thursday, location to be determined. If anyone knows anyone near Naples, then send them our way. And I just reached out to our friends last night, so.
And it is really, other than the printing, that getting flower donations is the biggest ask. Because I know I sent something out to Slow Flowers members in Atlanta, and I saw at least one person was able to bring you some flowers. 2? Oh, that's awesome.
Good.
Well, I think it's, again, back to just needing to be asked, because people want to support they want to share their heart with this cause and with changing the conversation in our country.
Yeah.
It's symbolic. Yanni's asking, do flowers need a water source when you do this?
So that's an interesting question, and I think Alicia and Adam will probably answer this better. When we started, we actually went to the dollar store and purchased like little vases, and we were going to de-zip ties. And when we got them up there and thought, because in Portland it rains a lot, so we thought, okay, this is going to continue to like feed itself, right? We were really worried about it breaking, so then we've just got 200 and something glass things sitting in the corner. But that's a really good question. Like, we did think about using water tubes, and we knew that those would probably deplete probably quickly anyway. So we didn't use anything. But Alicia and Adam, what do you guys feel about the water situation?
I mean, well, I think like you said, the representation of life and the fragility of life and the fading of the flowers is very symbolic. Like I liked to see the lifespan of the flowers. So we don't use water, and flowers are beautiful when they're dried too sometimes. So it people can come and refresh. I think no water source. Yeah.
It sounds like, these happen pretty rapidly, and that's another cost and another hurdle for non-professionals to execute. But I do think that the immediacy of the installation does change over time, and probably each city has its or each installation has its different lifespan. Like Joy says, it's in Portland, those photos are still up. The Dallas one, the downtown Dallas one, is that, you said it's semi-permanent?
That's going to be up for 1 to 2 months.
Okay, great. So
and we built a wall.
And do you think you or others might go add more flowers then?
Totally. And we made it there where there's a wall with these little, like, what would you call those? Like a cuff that's attached, a cuff that's screwed into the wall, where flowers can easily be put in, like a holder. They can easily be taken out, and new fresh flowers could be put in. Mm-hmm. So I think there's something beautiful in that, because it feels like such an official memorial to me. When I'm there. It is so impactful, and I would love to spend so much time at that memorial, replacing all the flowers and really looking at everyone.
Well, it's something that people will visit over time and be able to interact with and engage with in their own way as well. Well, kudos to all of you. I'm delighted that we could hear from 3 amazing wedding and event designers who've done something so timely and so powerful that is inspiring many other installations. Joy, you said you have these resources. Where can people find them? Do they need to email you directly, or? Yeah,
so I'd love if people just email me, hello@joyproctor.com, and I can send a link for an invitation to Google Drive, where we keep all of this. So for anybody who's interested in doing this, please email me. I'd love to have you be part of this.
That's
I think
awesome.
Alicia and Adam said it so well. There's so many, I think a lot of us feel like we want to do something, and there are so many different ways in which we can do things. And I think the point right now is to keep this momentum. Don't let it stop. It's really important. So if this is the right way for you, email me and let's make it happen.
Wow. And Karen has put the link to your GoFundMe campaign up in the chat, in the Zoom. I can never say this, Zoom group chat. It looks like you achieved the original goal, but people are still donating, because you probably have additional costs that you can grow this project, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we truthfully, we spent more money than we were supposed to, because we're trying to make it so awesome. And the carpenter's like, "Ooh, we need more molding here, and we could add some, all this stuff." But we want to be really transparent with it. And so we want to post something that shows exactly how we used that money, and if there is extra money, how it goes towards a new project.
Okay. That sounds great. So it can be, people can continue to contribute if they want.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we'd love that. We have other ideas up our sleeves, so we would put that towards the new ones in the future.
And I think also, Slow Flowers wants to support this. So if people are looking for connections to potential flower donors beyond maybe your own farm or your own community, do reach out, because I'm happy to kind of be a hub for just quickly emailing folks. Like when I sent the note to people in Atlanta, somebody was out of town and she said, I'm not even in town, but I'm going to forward this to my contacts. So hope, it has this mushrooming effect, which is awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much. We can keep asking questions. We're kind of at about the 10-minute before the hour mark. So I think we're going to just wrap up. Any final things, Joy or Adam and Alicia, that you'd like to share? Because this has been so generous of you to tell your stories today.
Anyone can feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about logistics or, tips or anything. Like I want to encourage everyone to make this in their hometown or their city. So I want to help, and Joy too. Like we want to make this seamless for you and answer all your questions. So feel free to reach out to any of us.
Great.
Yeah, ditto. Same. I think whatever it is that you want to do, I think the biggest thing is like, go for it. Even if you're like, okay, I kind of like this, but I want to change it, or, oh, that gave me another idea and I want to do it, go for it. Because there's so many people out there who want to do something and they want to be part of something and they want to help. So if you've got an idea, even if it's not this idea, if it's something totally different, know that there are people like who want to do it with you. And I think that's exactly what I learned, right? I had all of these crazy ideas and I had crazy awesome friends around the country and other places, and we made them happen. So if it's this issue or if it's another issue, or another project, totally, I think it's really easy to feel like when you start something it's heavy and it's big, but remember that there are a lot of people with time and huge heavy hearts right now. So if you're trying to help anybody in any way, this is the time to do it.
Wow, that's so inspiring. Thank you all so much. I know that we'll be interested to see what happens to Bows and Arrows and to Joy Proctor Design post-COVID, but you've changed lives, and this is going to last a lot longer than, a wedding bouquet. So not to take away from that, but it's interesting how it is, how you used your skills, your talents, your art to really make a statement that we all want to support. So thanks. Okay, I think we're going to just wrap up. I've got a few announcements. Our meeting was in June and we had 3 giveaways, and those giveaways went to Patty Poulin of Dirty Boot Farm, won a copy of the new Slow Flowers Journal book, which I will just hold up because we're going to give one of these away today as well. And then we had 2 other attendees who received the American Flowers Week bouquet labels. And they went to Karen Ottmeyer of Moon Hollow Farm and Sally Sparks of Sally Sparks Flowers and Design. Today, I said we're going to do a drawing for 1 copy of the Slow Flowers Journal book. 1 very fun gift package from Johnny's Seeds. Johnny's is one of our sponsors. A trucker hat. And a really amazing hand seeder for your greenhouse or your flats. And then Raw Materials Design, which is a made in USA apron company here in Seattle, woman-owned. They are donating a utility apron. So I don't have one to show you, but anyway, someone's going to win that too. So we'll do the drawing and announce it next week. And our next meetup will be in Friday, August 14th. So we'll try to have some other speakers as amazing as Joy, Alicia, and Adam, who have, will come and share something that's happening in the Slow Flowers world next month. So I thank you all. This will be recorded. We'll post the replay video next week too. So those who couldn't join today can, I hope, many will hear and see this, and I thank you all. I love you all, and stay focused on change and positivity. And I love what the message that I'm taking away today is: just even if you're afraid or you are overwhelmed, just speak out, and it'll touch someone. So thanks. Love you all. Take care. Thanks to Adam, Alicia, and Joy.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a great day.